As we bust into a new year, 2025. It's just another day to me. Only thing different about today is, well, tonight I don't have to turn my Christmas lights on, and tomorrow I got to take my Christmas lights down. So last night I couldn't sleep. I said, well, I'm going to carve a gnome. I whittled this with a knife. I did use my micro carver with a little tiny flame bit to clean it up inside there and stuff, but you can see my knife cuts. Now, I thought I did such a great job on this gnome. I was so proud of myself. Sat here, drank 20 cups of coffee when I was done it. I was going to call this gnome the Hitman. Yeah, this was going to be the Hitman gnome. He's kind of got like a cheeky smirk there. I got his mustache. I tucked his arms underneath his mustache. I even bent his mustache so it looks like his hands are underneath his mustache. You know, they're bent. Just carved deeper around there on the outside of it. But when I was done looking at this piece and how it's sitting here like that, looks like he's got that mustache. It grows up here and they shave it like that. This looks like it's part of his beard mustache too. So, anyways, he's still the hitman. Just carve Rob. I'm challenging you. I'm challenging you to carve a gnome and call it the spy. I'd like to see your spy gnome. Just carve Rob, the spy. So yeah, these arms didn't quite work out too well. But you know, if you don't try new things, you don't learn. Right? Right. Come on, just carve Rob. Let's see the spy. Now the whole world knows I'm challenging you to carve a spy gnome. Yeah, he's got to be the spy. Anyways, this is a cork, a wood cork I carved, I think, a couple of years back. It is a cedar float. I flattened out the back, Jordy. J for Jordy, signing pieces. These are old fishing floats for like gill nets or herring nets or whatever. I'm in British Columbia, Canada. This is old Western red cedar. Now, on the outside of these floats, all that dark stuff, that's all that kerosene oil. What they do is they shape the floats and then they soak them in that oil. So when you get these floats, and you want to carve them, you have to clean up that oil. Now, if I was at my chainsaw carving tent, I could use my grinder with the sanding disc on it and sand that oil off pretty quick. You could, I guess, be safe. You could possibly, I think one time I got a bunch of these floats on a string and I burnt the oil, lots of the oil off. Like a spider web. Any little spiders in there? Hello. How you doing, little spider? Today's not your lucky day. But you got to clean up the oil on the outside of them. So when you're doing that, boy, oh boy, oh boy, you got to wear a dust mask. You got to wear a dust mask all the time wood carving anyways. I always do now. Sometimes when I'm swinging the chainsaws, I don't wear them, but anytime I'm sanding, that dust mask is on. And anytime I'm Dremel carving, that dust mask is on. So since you can see here so easily, now this is for the very beginners, for Dremel carvers, Dremel carving with a flex shaft, I should say. This Dremel carving with a flex shaft for beginners. This you can see the wood grain here. See those lines like circles? They get wider, 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 wider. That's carving face grain. That's the way I like to carve. I like the carving. So I'm carving through each layer, right? That's the way I like to carve. But yeah, you carve here. See those lines, how they're going this way? Carving here, that's carving edge grain. Right? So if you buy a board from the hardware store, when you see lines like this, and they'll be some of them will kind of be like shaped like this and stuff. Face grain. I like carving face grain, especially for Show Susie band, because you carve into the grain and it shows the grain. This way is edge grain. I don't like carving into edge grain, but I will. It's not that big of a deal, really. Now, if you're going to carve this way into the cork, you'd be carving against the grain. Anyways, point of this video is it's the new year. This piece is a couple years old. This eagle, pterodactyl, duck thing, whatever you want to call it, is a couple years old. I did this last night. I was proud of myself, but when I looked at it, I said, that looks like he's got a mustache. It goes up like that, connects to the sideburns. That's the kind of mustache I should have. I should shave it like that because I can't grow on the middle of my chin. The hair doesn't grow, but I could grow one like that. I'm just too lazy to shave it like that. Mine would probably be uneven. So this eagle head, well, I'm going to carve, since it's the new year, it's time to try and up your game and improve your thing. So I'm going to try and carve a better eagle head on this one. That's how you get better, right? So I will use my Fordham to clean up this oil. And it stinks. It's messy. And as soon as you clean it up, clean your table off and get rid of the oil stuff. It's nasty stuff. And Doc, Lupo, Arts and Crafts, I will send you some of these corks. Sooner or later. Yes, I will. Once I carve an owl and those round ball things when they show up. I got 300 of these corks. Lupo sent me lots of stuff, so I need to send him stuff. But if anybody wants to buy these corks, I might sell them. But then again, I don't know if I will or not. I don't like shipping. I hate shipping. So what I could do is, my mind's all over the map this morning, so just maybe don't even watch this video. What I could do is to make this eagle, pterodactyl, seagull, penguin bird, I could make it make it better. I could probably make this beak more square. Like cut it here. Where's the pencil? Cut it right here. Do that. Push this eye, carve it deeper, push this eye forward. There's lots of stuff I could do. The little line down the beak here, don't have that line there. Have it so the beak comes here. Lots of stuff I could do. But you know what? This is still, even though it doesn't really look like an eagle, well, it doesn't. Looks like my earlier eagles. Who knows? Maybe this eagle will look like this one because we all have our own style. But there's no sense trying to fix this one up once I could put a piece of abalone, because this eye set, it's made to put an abalone shell in there, which I'll do at the end of the video. Somebody will still buy this, or it would make a good gift. These corks are collector's items, and I am from a fishing town, so they're pretty popular if I carve a bunch of them. Another thing I want to say about this too. See, the shape of this cork is kind of going like that, like a cork, like an egg. Well, see how the eagle head kind of does that too? Well, the eagle heads don't really do that, go around like that in real life. So maybe they do, I don't know, but you can see that I was influenced by the outside of the wood. I was following that line when I was doing this eagle. I'd rather have this eagle more straight. Like, see, this way he's kind of looking up. His beak should be looking up too. So, I don't know. Just trying to, sometimes I just talk out what I'm thinking out loud. So like I said, these corks are antiques. They don't make wood ones anymore in BC anyways. There you can see the face grain now. Look, it looks like there's the eagle head kind of just facing that way. There's the beak. There's the part above the eye. I carved a flat spot on the bottom because I'm going to carve this so it sits on somebody's table or whatever. On this one, I cleaned up too. I like these are small carvings for me, and I do them pretty quick, so I might as well do two at a time. This one, you can see, like, you don't know it's what's that Forrest Gump saying? You never know what you're going to get in a box of chocolates. Well, I don't know where that saying comes from because I always look at the pictures on the box of the chocolates, so I know what kind of chocolates I'm going to get inside the box of the chocolates. But this is like you don't know what you're going to get inside of a box of chocolates because, well, you don't know what color the cedar is going to be. You don't know if it's going to be harder, if it's going to be softer. So this one had a lot more oil than the other one. And you can see, like, obviously it's hot oil that they put them into, and they you can see how deep it sunk in there. I had to carve it deeper. So it's good to try and find the older corks that have lots of lifetime fishing and lots of the oil has worn off. It's a lot easier to clean up. It's not that bad, the oil. It's not sticky or anything like that. It's just, well, it's oil, right? So you get that kerosene smell. Like I had this cup of water around from yesterday. Look at it all sitting in there. Good thing I put my coffee off to the side. That's the oil sitting in the water cup. So now, to carve your eagle head, I think, for me, well, how do you want it to be on the cork? So it's hard to show, but pretend it's sitting on a desk this way. Pretend my hand is a desk, and that's the way it's sitting. So I think instead of, because your mind naturally follows this curve, right? Like I talked about, like an egg curve, your mind, a football. You could carve one of these in the football. I think it's good. Here's a shout out to Doc or Lupo, Arts and Hobbies. It's good. So if you live in a farming town, find something antique that they used to use for farming and carve that. It would probably be good sellers. People want that antique. So, or if you have a fishing town, find the old corks. If you have a, well, I don't know, something town with old antiques in it that relate to that town, there'd probably be big sellers for your town. So instead of following this curve, let's just try and put a straight line here. We want this to kind of be looking up a bit. So we got to try and use most of this wood that, like, I might have even taken too much of the oil off. It's good to leave some of the oil on it too. Like, see how I left it on the sides? So let's see, that's not too much. Actually, let's just kind of go like this. So then we can work off this line here. Straight enough to me. So your beak, you guys see what's going on here? There you go. Your beak. Now I got to try to remember to do a better eagle than my other one that I did. Your beak would be like this. Like that. My eagles, I'm not ashamed to admit it, they always look more native because I got so much native art around here. And then your head, you're like, I know from this eagle that I carved the eye back too far, right? The eye should be up more right up here. Now they say the beak matches the eye. I looked at eagles, like real pictures of eagles, and the eye is basically in the middle of the face, almost just above the middle of the face, I think. A side view. And I've just always wanted to really progress on my eagle heads. So there's that. So I got that shape. Now the fur kind of goes like the feathers or whatever. They kind of wrap around. Like they kind of come up onto the beak here, but I'm not going to get into that crazy. stuff. We just want to make this look as cool as we possibly can, right? We could make it so his neck's coming down here too, like that. But it would be like a round thing there. It would kind of go like that. But let's just kind of make this like a soaring eagle head. So we'll branch that off there, and then well, if we're gonna make it a soaring eagle head, we can't have this back of the head come down. It's got to kind of go like this. So it kind of whoosh, flares off at the end. And you got to think of scale too, like, you know, this eagle head is a little bit thin for this carving, but I can do stuff in the background here. So I think that's, I like to give it a little bit of a hook right there. See how small the head is above the eye? Now, if you look at this, remember what I said? Remember what I just said? The eagle. So I'm doing something wrong here. The eye should be down lower here, right? The beak up here. You put cheekbone in there. So see how I just corrected myself there? There, that's where I did have the eye, but I put it down here lower. And it's still, the beak should be like, the eye's pretty big on the eagle face, actually. This is going to be abalone shell in here, so we'll make it a little bit bigger. And bring your beak down. Make your beak smaller. This guy's got a huge beak. That's all right. My eagles mostly look like thunderbirds. Man, my hands are itchy today. Dry skin, dry weather. Well, it's wet here, but yeah, most of my eagles normally look like thunderbirds. I'm fine with that. I think thunderbirds are cool. Actually, you know, if I could try to carve thunderbirds, I'd be much happier than thunderbirds with the eagles. So there's just me rambling about nothing. I hope this microphone's on. Now, this is pretty soft cedar. I don't know how soft, but here's a Kutzall taper burr. It's the silver one. I'm going to go on the outside of this whole carving, pretty deep. About Gr Deep says about that deep. And cut it. And I'm just going to maybe put on then the Kutzall Extreme Flame Burr and then remove the wood around this thing. And you got to remember with wood carving, it's always better to make your, we'll call this eagle the subject, the thunderbird the subject for this Dremel carving. So always make it bigger than it's a lot easier to make it smaller after than it is to try and make it bigger. If you want to try and make it bigger after, you have to carve a lot deeper, then you can make it bigger again. But it's just easier to draw it on bigger. This is pretty big right now, but that's all right. We'll get through it. Well, I'll talk about the voiceover where I did that. It's kind of got a weird shape. It's kind of like sewing down, but then going back up, like the beak's lifting back up. This cedar is a little bit sticky to carve all the way through. I still got to put the abalone shell in it. Hopefully it will hide that hole in the back. Nobody will see that when they buy it or if I give this away. I don't hate it. Let's compare it to the other one here. It's showing me trying to get better with my eagles. Now, I think this part of the beak is a little bit, I don't know, too long. Maybe I can take that down a bit shorter too, make it a bit thinner. I could try and straighten this head out a bit, curve it. Actually, I think I got enough depth. And this is just to show you guys, if you do want to put the time in to try and fix older carving, you can always do that. Because I would really like to get this, I'd like to get rid of this part here. And I'd like to get this eye closer to the beak. And then make this beak more square here. And this is kind of a Jordy Does video. I'm just kind of messing around here. I don't like them to have like a, it's weird. I don't like them to have a round beak like that because then it looks like, I don't know. It looks like a parrot. I like them to be more square for myself. I know the beaks come down, but I like them to be more like that. And then a sharper hook here too. But that's already too low. Should I try and fix this? Here's one that I found that I carved like 3 years back. It's just a silly, quickly, you can see I didn't sand it that very well or anything. Just a quick flower you can do. Something like that too. I did have a rope in there to hang it from a tree. Put some Mod Podge on the bottom, but you know, I think, Doc, you probably could use these, drill these out, carve these out, and make them those little lights that you use, tea lights. Now, I don't know what kind of owl this is. This is definitely 100% a fluffer owl. But I carved this today too. I'm kind of sick of carving these. Let's see here. I'm kind of sick of carving these right now, but there's a nice little set for you. That would look, something like that would look good on your art table when you're doing the craft shows, Doc. I got this. This is. I should probably make a separate video for this one, but this is a piece of driftwood I found on the beach last week. It's all twisty, and I said it would make a natural good wood spinner, and I carve a wood spirit on here. It's New Year's Day. Maybe I should carve this live on YouTube, so I might do that. Take a break from these because I got to do the abalone shell in the eyes. Maybe I'll try and fix this eagle first. All right, it's now the next day, and this video is going to change the way I thought I was going to make this video. I'm not going to show carving that eagle that much in this video, but I did carve this wind spinner, natural wind spinner, live on YouTube yesterday. You guys can, if you want to see me do that, carving it, I did it live on YouTube. It's the live ones are kind of man, I did give this a spray coat, but there's kind of like a wood spirit in here, and then the better ones are on this side. So this is a piece of root. I don't know what type of wood it is. I think it's a young Douglas fir or something. Anyway, so that's done. So back to the eagle that I was working on. Now, it didn't turn out the way I'm not going to lie, I went into a carving frenzy after I did the live carving of that natural wind spinner. This doesn't look like an eagle. It looks like a, I don't know, it looks like a, I don't know what kind of bird it looks like. But it's all right. You know, it's okay. And you see here, the shiny part in the eye, I just said, this is abalone shell. All right. You can see I got it all cut out here. But I bought this stuff on eBay, I think, years back. I think this stuff comes from Thailand. And you just cut it up. And that's what the natives use lots for their insets, for their eyes, for their stuff that they do. So I think another good thing too, is you can see I put a finish on this. But some spots, the finish didn't really take. You see here, it's more flat. It's not shiny because the cedar sucked in the finish more. So I'm going to show you guys, because to set this abalone shell, I just used super glue. This is STARBOND. This is the thin stuff. It comes thin, medium, thick. It comes black. It comes different colors. Lots of wood turners use this stuff for their wood turnings, or pen makers, people that turn pens, they use it too. So that's what I did with this one, and I did it with other ones too. I did them yesterday, so I'll just show you guys. It goes on super easy, and it's kind of funny that this this eagle really just shows how this cedar's super old. Come on, it's super old, like probably over 100 years old. These corks are antiques, for sure. So this super glue goes on really consistent, and it dries fast, and it gives you a nice, unique, what's the word, sheen. Even though I don't like this piece, you still gotta finish it, sign it, and carry on. Just because I don't like it doesn't mean somebody else won't like it. Well, I tell you the truth, I don't even know who will like this. Hey, my piece, I'm allowed to say what I want. Yeah, sure, this paintbrush is going to be toast when this is done. So there, that's done. So I'm going to show you guys what I did with the other ones. Last night I was thinking, so here's the one that I made the video about. I showed carving, and I'm not really going to show carving too much of this. I think it's just kind of a waste of time. So here's this. Now let the super glue dry, the CA glue. Now here's the other eagle. I fixed it up. I made the head not so. Now this is not an eagle. It looks more like a hawk or a falcon. So I didn't like this before, but now I like it a lot better. And I did the abalone shell there too. You have to do a deep undercut underneath that eyebrow, and then slide it under. Then try and I'm not the best at setting the abalone shell. You don't really want to have gaps in there. You want to have it all tight and consistent to the wood. That's all right though. So this is the one I did a few years ago. I just fixed it up. It's still a little bit round, the way of the shape of the cork, but I like it. We'll put some more super glue on that, a little bit of that too, because I can see it's a little bit flatter here. Now the CA glue. There's a link to this CA glue down in my description. With, I think if you use code Carving Fusion, you'll save yourself 10% or something. So I am an affiliate of theirs. I don't mention it that much because, well, I don't use it all the time. But you see, it gives it a nice shine. Sometimes, yeah, like here, you have to do 2 coats. That last one, I didn't have to do 2 coats on this one, but why not? So we'll let this one dry. Now, the owl, I don't know if I showed you guys, I carved an owl. Well, I took the time to wood burn it. This took me 1,000 hours to wood burn. And this has the CA glue on it too, as a finish. I just did a quick epoxy pour on the eyes. Those eyes aren't level, so before I've done the epoxy pour where I poured, I mix up the epoxy, I put some orange paint in there. I did the orange first in the back there, and then I put a little bit of, then I let the orange dry, then I put black on top so it looks like owl eyes. So this is not my best owl for sure. It's just really simple, but it's cute. Somebody would like to buy this. Signed it. It's cute. I think it's cute. You might not think it's cute. It's what it is simple. This one here is just, well, it is what it is. I scuffed up some of the paint to make it look more like an antique. We'll call it folk art. Folk art sells big. So, and this hole here, what I was going to do is, I remember hang it, and I was going to put some succulents in here. So maybe I'll put this outside and plant some succulents in there. Put a little drain. There's a little drain hole in there. Or put a little drain. Yeah, that's a drain hole in that little black spot. This could be a succulent holder. Another thing too, this would be a nice air There's little things like succulents, but they're air plants. It could be an air plant holder too. So that's that. So when I was thinking about all these last night, I was like, man, I gotta up my game. I'm like, I'm not very happy with any of these carvings. So I dedicated myself today to wake up and do a couple other carvings that I'd be happy with. Then it's just to show you guys, just because you carve something like this, like see that super glue is almost pretty well dry. Something like this, you're not happy. Well, don't give up and carve something that does make you happy. So I'll show you what I carved that makes me happy. All right, so the first one I dedicated this video to is this one. It's just turned out weird. How does it sit? It sits like that. So there's the first one. I kind of made the flat spot a little bit on the, I should have made it on the bottom so it kind of looks more this way. Not, well, I guess if you have it on a coffee table. Just because I don't like it doesn't mean somebody else won't like it. Then here's the eagle that I repaired. Now it's a falcon. The owl. The silly little flower succulent plant holder. Now, hey, Doc, Lupo, Mr. Lupo Arts and Crafts, you definitely could hollow this out and put one of those little silly, not silly, but little tea lights in there, the fake ones. So there's that one. Now I got up this morning. Then I said, I got to up my game, make myself happy. So I carved this wood spirit really quick. Yep, that's Jesus. So there's this one. Then my son came into the room and said, "What are you carving, Dad?" And I showed him. I got a cold. He's got a cold too. Showed him this. He goes, "You should carve another one with the twisty lines and stuff that you sold last year too." So I carved this one. This one's kind of, this eyebrow was higher than the other one, like where I'm tapping is higher. So I kind of made it look like his eyes are looking kind of up that way, like a sneaky fellow. With the twisty stuff. So that's it, everybody. There's carving the wooden corks. I'm glad they're done. I'm not too sure what I'm going to carve tomorrow. Maybe I'll go finish off the wizard and get that video done. But hope this video's able to. Oh boy, here we go. I hope this video helps some of you just to be able to open your mind. If you suck, if a carving doesn't work out, don't stress about it. Do not stress about it. Do not throw away your carvings that you think suck. Do not burn them. Keep them around. When you get a little bit better, fix them up. Yeah? Yeah. Anyways, Carbon Fusion. Over and out. Woo, woo.